Newly built apartments are mainly bought from developers, but more and more row houses or semi-detached houses are also being built and offered by construction companies. If your dream apartment on your desired plot is sold by a developer, you should pay attention while buying. Hi, my name is Ajay, and in this channel we're going to guide you on how to buy a house here in Germany. A developer is a company that acquires land, constructs buildings on it, and then sells them. As a buyer, you are therefore in most cases buying an apartment that the developer has not yet completed. When buying, you should not lose sight of these 5 things. The development contract regulates the conditions of the purchase, such as the purchase price, construction period, and usually refers to a separate construction description, building description. It's important to carefully review the contract and all related documents and seek expert advice here. In the case of a developer's contract, pay particularly attention to the following points. First, penalties. Make sure that the contract includes provisions for penalties in the event of delays or defects to protect your interests. Second, payment terms. Clarify which schedule is to be used to pay the purchase price. Third, deadlines and dates. Check whether the contract contains binding deadlines for completion and handover of the apartment. The first one, penalties, is a bit tricky. Developers obviously might not want to commit to a certain date and combine that with paying a penalty. But if you aligned financing with a bank for, let's say, 10 years and the first 12 months the money is reserved free of charge, and the deadline was to have built in 12 months and the builder is not able to complete that, you will be paying a penalty to the bank, but will not get that reimbursed by the builder. So please take care of the above mentioned 3 points. If you buy an apartment under construction from a developer, it's customary to pay according to construction progress. This means that you do not pay the purchase price all at once, but in installments based on completion. This arrangement offers you as a buyer more security, since you only have to pay when the developer has made certain construction progress. Make sure that the contract clearly states which construction stages correspond to which payments. The Brokerage and Property Development Ordinance, German Makler and Bauträgerverordnung, provides for up to 7 partial payments. The first one is due after the earthworks have begun, which typically means once an excavator hits the site. Not when the contract has been signed. So you will have some time between contract signature and the first payment, obviously depending upon how far the developer is. If you need financing for your property, we've listed our contact details below, so you can align a free appointment with us. Property developers want to sell, and they have to. Due to the rise in interest rates currently, many developers' projects are also sometimes on the verge of completion, which means they want to sell all apartments in a project as quickly as possible. But even if time is pressing, you shouldn't let yourself be pressured. I always believe if someone is trying to push you, go even slower. The so-called protection against haste is an important aspect here. It refers to the fact that you as a buyer should have sufficient time to thoroughly examine the contract and not make any hasty decisions. The legislator has made special provisions for this in order to protect your interests. At least 14 days before the notarization, you must have all the documents in addition to the contract itself. This includes the declaration of partition, Teilungserklärung, and floor maps, Flurkarten, and all other annexes of the contract, so that you can review them or have them reviewed by a third party. Use this time to check things that may not be obvious at first glance from the developer's glossy marketing brochures. Time and again, you hear about orphan construction projects and bankrupt developers. Therefore, when choosing a developer, please pay attention to the experience, references, and reputation of the build itself. Find out about completed projects, talk to other buyers to get first-hand experience. It's also important to check the developer's credit rating to ensure that they are financially capable of completing the project, even without selling you the property. Good banks check this for you, in order not to jeopardize their own investment. In most cases, though, you'll need to do this on your own. I had one case once where the client wanted to buy a multi-story building from a developer. The developer said he was in the business now for almost 80 years. And after doing some due diligence on our side, it turned out that the company was indeed in business for 80 years, but they sold bicycles the first 78 years and only pivoted 2 years back to become a construction company. So this example showcases, please don't believe everything you're being told, and check everything. Have the contract and the building description read by a professional to mitigate risks, or at least let you know which risks there are for you to opt in or out. Check the financial health of the development company as well as the references. Do some due diligence on the development company themselves as well. There's just too much money to be made and lost for the deal to be based on trusting the development company's sales representative. If it's a house, involve a third-party gutachter to perform regular checks based on completion before signing off on the invoices. I know this will cost money, but if you have a look at the ratio of you spending, say, 1,500 euros on the gutachter versus the 500,000 or 600,000 euros the property is worth, it will make sense to invest that money into that guy or girl who's doing the checks.